Simon Davis with It's a Fencer's Life, Lessons from the Trenches.
Oftentimes say, oh, it's just a fence. Anybody can put one in. And so
Yes.
we're trying to fight the same battle you are.
Yes.
and elevate that, educate not just our association, our knit industry, but educate those around us that there is a lot more to building a fence than the old adage of, oh, it's just a fence. It's more than that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. They've formed a committee of 20, a skills committee of 20 people, and they're working through that now. Government has told them basically they need to have 1,000 members, paying members, to make this happen. And at this stage, we don't have any paying members, so it's all just sort of early ground. It's going to take probably 3 to 4 years to maybe 5 years from what the directors have been telling me. But we've just had. Yeah, got it happening. G'day guys, Simon here, Profitable Fencer. Today we have the innovator of the US, Mr. Shawn King, and very, very grateful to have this opportunity to catch up with you all the way from the USA. And I'm stoked. I'm a big fan. I like to see what you're doing. I like to see the innovations you've got, and thank you for sparing the time to come and have a chat with me.
Well, I appreciate you for letting me on the show. I do love Australia. But sure, that was one of the first places I went to do some training. So that was a very unique experience over there in Australia. I can't wait for the day to go back. Right? Learned a lot of terminology that I'm probably going to hear from you today. I'm kind of excited about it. Some of the slang terms I heard when I was over in Australia were outrageous. I loved it. Good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah. So we find that quite. At the moment, things are pretty busy in the fencing industry. We've started. I'm not affiliated with it as committee wise or anything, but we're the second year into the Fencing Industry Australia. Much like your AFA, it's starting to take shape. We're trying to set things up in a way that a lot of us fencers can become trade based. So, like with a certificate 3, like a carpenter, so we don't get sort of pushed around as much. Hopefully, get rid of some of the cowboys and have an industry that is based at a higher level. A bit more accountability and things like that. So.
We fight the same battle, right? We're trying to get the fence industry in the States to be more recognized as a profession. What I mean by that, more recognized professions. We have trained professionals that are installing fence. And you said get pushed around. It's the same thing here. Like on blueprints, we oftentimes don't even have our own page for the fence. We're like behind the landscaping or the civil plans might have the fence involved. Fencing is an afterthought for most projects. It's the last thing to think of. And they oftentimes say, oh, it's just a fence. Anybody can put one in. And so we're trying to fight the same battle you are and elevate that, educate not just our association or our knit industry, but educate those around us that there is a lot more to building a fence than the old adage of, oh, it's just a fence. It's more than that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. They've formed a committee of 20, a skills committee of 20 people, and they're working through that now. Government has told them basically they need to have 1,000 members paying members to make this happen. And at this stage, we don't have any paying members. So it's all just sort of early ground. It's going to take probably 3 to 4 years to maybe 5 years from what the directors have been telling me. But we've just had our second Fencing Industry Awards in Australia, which was absolutely awesome. I think there's another conference in Melbourne in a couple of days, 15th of July, just a meet and greet again. But, mate, things are really shaping up for us. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for where this is heading. So it's something that we really need.
What would you guys think you're going to charge for that membership that would make the government happy? You said 1,000 people paying what?
I'm not 100% sure, mate. As I said, I'm not privy to that information of where that is. But they do need, for the government to take it serious and the technical boards to take them serious, they need paying members to put some skin in the game and put that in there. Look, it might be a $500 industry fund. I have no idea. I can't sort of answer that.
Yep.
For me personally, I'm in a housing industry fund, HIA they call it. There's Master Builders Association. Look, I'm paying nearly $800 a year for that one, and that gives me some support, gives me stuff that I need if I have legal problems and things like that. The fencing industry is not going to go down that path, I don't think. I think they're just more skills-based, get some apprentices on the ground so we can train them, teach them, educate them, and move it forward that way.
I'd like to ask your opinion of where are you guys at with training in Australia? Is there anyone that's helping educate fencers at all, or is it just all learning the hard way?
Now, most of us are learning the hard way. We do have a traineeship board that you can put on, and this is where it's really difficult. I've put a lot of trainees on over the years, and it becomes a building certificate number 2. So a carpenter's number 3, but in that building certificate number 2, they've got to do concreting, they've got to do site set outs, they've got to do slabs, and it's got to do better landscape. It's not diverse to fencing. As you said, we're at the back end. We're at the back end of the plans. We're forgotten. We're just glorified labourers, and it's just a fence. Hurry up, get it done. Why is it taking you so long?
That's right. That's right.
Which is a big issue, and I face that all the time. It's I don't want to go down that path myself again. I'm actually still installing as well. Getting and I like installing. I like seeing what I've done, but I'm getting a real big kick out of educating and doing that sort of side, and I'm shifting my focus that way at the moment. So, yeah.
So you're shifting focus to, you called it trainees? Is that what you called it? Trainees?
Yeah. So they do traineeships and things like that. So I'm shifting my focus now into my Facebook group and to the podcast and that way, trying to get it out there and do the training that way. I do a lot of videos trying to do, probably send my mug around.
You're taking all the heat for being the guy out there helping everybody else and showing some new innovative ways, aren't you?
Oh yeah, cop a lot of slack. Yeah, cop a lot of that. Yeah, it's quite funny actually. It's I was kicked out of another big Facebook group that had 4,000 members in it, and because I was sort of spruiking for the fencing industry, and bang, they're going, yeah, see you later, buddy, you're not in this anymore.
I know. I've been kicked out of a few myself. This is a true story.
Yeah, it's really funny that Joe Everest says a rising tide raises all the ships, and together we get better. But there's so many blokes just want to cut your legs out from under you all the time.
So it's the same in Australia as it is in the United States.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, if you're doing well, mate, and there's things happening, there's the tall poppy syndrome, mate. They just straight out from underneath you. Try and go again. Yeah. Wow. And I can't say that's all the time, because there's a lot of blokes that are willing to learn, willing to take some advice. I see your stuff. You do a lot of the technical side of things. I do the technical side of things and have done for 25 years with my own people. I love that, to get out there to a bigger group, but I'm more based on the business side of things now, because I've been through a hardship. I've done it pretty tough, and I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way, and I shifted focus from a lot of people going down that track. You don't need to go down that track. So if we can shift and move and pivot, learn from somebody else, mate. Grab it with both hands. I reckon.
Well, I think we can shorten the learning curve tremendously by using our experiences. I myself have been in a very bad spot multiple times over the years and have saw my way through it, but it took me a lot longer than it could have had I had a conversation, had access to resources or people that could have given me tips or tricks or ideas or confidence not to do this and to do this. I think it would have saved me many, many years. And so I agree that you're helping others deviate or pivot from making those same mistakes, as we are trying to help others here as well. I'm a little envious of those that get our advice ahead of the game, as we help people mm, help people avoid catastrophe. It's like, well, we had to go through that, unfortunately, to give them the
Yes.
advice not to
Yeah.
do it. You know,
Yeah, and
we had to go through that.
that's what I found. That's what I found very much, and why I started the Facebook group originally was I used to. It used to be called the Tradies Bar, and I used to talk to a lot of tradies, and I wrote a few programs based around the construction industry for tradies. I have a 6-week course, and then I have a 12-month mastermind that I was sort of running,
Oh,
and I've found with the things that I was going through, it went through a whole. I went through a whole mental anguish. I, I won't say I had a breakdown, but I think I was very, very close to the edge of having a breakdown, and
right.
my nerves were shot. I was stressed to the max. There was certain things that would really trigger me. I lost control of everything that was basically happening in my life. Um, so then and then the downturn of that is you take all that stress home, you take that lack of
Yep.
control home, and then I started controlling. OCD went through the roof. It was a bit ridiculous. If the butter wasn't put in the fridge in the right spot, mate, I was losing the shit. you know Really stupid things like that, and I had no control over it. So I turned that around, and we started this group, and I started talking a lot in the group about these things, and the people that reached out to me and were saying they're going through so much of their same things was mind blowing. So
Yeah.
fast forward 4 or 5 years, and I've this year basically started, or last year started the Profitable Fencer as my business page, but then I've just called this now the Tradies Bar into the Fence Post group. So it's dedicated basically just to fences, because a lot of those blokes are going through the same thing as well. A lot of them are just trading time for money, and it's
Yes. I had
why
a
are we
conversation
busting
with
our guts for doing that?
Yeah, trading time for money is where we all start. We want to we'll eventually trade money for time, unfortunately. But the
Yeah,
goal is to trade money
yep,
for money, right? If we can get to that point, that I'm not there. I know that's my ambition is to get to a point where we're trading money for money. I'm
yep,
at a point now where I'm starting to trade money for time, and again not a great spot to be into either, because then you just got to go make more money just to get. You're working harder for a little bit of time, and then you
yep.
think, I just work even harder, make some more money, I can buy some more time. And it's not very efficient that way. How about that? Like, it's not worth the money it costs to buy time. That's what I'm,
Yeah, exactly. Like I still get in the same boat sometimes. It's we're all doing the same thing. We're all building fences and installing and looking after customers and clients and trying to find the next client and trying to service what we can. But in my mindset now, and now being through that side of things, and I found a lady. Well, actually, I found a book called The Pumpkin Planter by Mike Michalowicz, and that just stirred me up something chronic. It put me on the right track. And I talk about that in my group quite a lot, because it's basically about, if you want to grow the biggest pumpkin, you've got to prune all the little stuff out of the way, and you've got to dedicate some time and effort and water it and fertilize it and do all this sort of stuff. Out of that, he wrote a book called Profit First, and
yes,
I
yes,
read that one as well. And then I found a lady in Australia who wrote a book called Profit First for Tradies, for tradesmen. So I contacted her, read that, brought her online with me, and we reset and restructured my whole business.
Oh my
The
gosh.
glorious thing about that is if I had done that 20 years ago, I'd be free and easy and, nearly retired.
Right.
That's
Sure.
how powerful it is. It's an awesome system. And, I just, started out like we all do, trade time for money, start up, no business skills, just build fences and let's see where we're going. And it ultimately doesn't work.
It just gets you tired, and burns time. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Can't get it back.
Yeah.
I've often said before that, a lot of fencers can relate to the fact that they work hard every day. There's no lack of effort. That isn't because they don't go out and bust their tail. They literally get up at the break of dawn and they work all night long. I know a lot of fencers like this. At the end of the week and end of the month and end of the year, they don't have anything really to show for it. They barely paid their bills. There isn't anything that they necessarily have assets or ownership in of value, and they're tired. But their thought process is, but I worked really, really hard. I never stopped. Why did it not work? And the analogy I can give to them is you can run just as hard in the wrong direction as you can in the right direction. There's zero difference in effort. I can literally be working against the system or running away from my goals and not even know it because I don't have a map to understand the direction I'm going in, and run my ass off and get to the end and not where I want to be, but extremely tired. Or I can have a plan. I can hook up with guys like yourself and have an intent, and be very intensious with my time and have a plan. And for all that effort that I'm going to use anyways, at least it's going in the right direction. And I'm working this, whatever toward my goal is. So now I get to the end, I'm tired, but I'm a little bit closer to my goal.
Yep.
This is what we find very common for our group that we coach, and those that I have the opportunity to share my experience, because I was the guy that was working his ass off in the wrong direction. There was no lack of effort.
Yeah. And look, I've seen that numerous times myself. There's a lot of fences that come into the industry that stay for 2 years, 3 years, and then go. They can't handle it. They can't. There's no planning for them. There's no longevity in it. I think. Work. Yeah, they can't sustain it. And one of the big things, I find myself very lucky. I had the headache and I had the mishaps and everything else, but I find myself very lucky, and I'm grateful for the learnings that I've had over the time. But I worked my ass off, and I think the only thing that kept me going was that I was working my ass off, but I was going in the wrong direction, and I had no idea. I had no idea how to run financials and do budgets and cash flows and all that. And look, I still struggle with cash flows. Don't get me wrong, it does my head in. But I know now where to shift money and what clients to take, what targets that I want to hit, a plan. If you've got a plan in life and you're moving forward, and if it's not written down, it's only a dream. And we can all have pipe dreams, but as soon as you start to write things down, concrete it in your mind, even have a vision board, there's things start to work in that direction, and the sort of gravitation pulls you in that direction. So I'm really, really sort of excited for the next journey of my life, especially doing my coaching and things like that, because it is a way for me to get from A to B off the tools and but still stay in the industry, which I love. I love the industry. I love seeing what we've done each day and building all the different types of fences that we do. I love seeing what you guys are doing over there. You're into this whole new pound and posts.
Pound and posts.
Pound and posts. That's it. It's quite interesting because we've been pound and post for years. Doing rural fencing, things like that. We have percussion drivers and big post rammers on tractors and all that sort of stuff. Been around for donkey's years. I've never seen it. Or we've done a little bit in security where it's sort of more temporary, like chain mesh fencing. See you guys now taking it into the domestic market with your vinyl. Talk me through
Yep.
that. How's that working for you?
So I give you, for instance, I have a guy who's in town today, just following me around from another state, and we went by one of our job sites, and on that job site was a foreman and a 16-year-old kid and I don't know, mid-20s female. The kid and the female were very new to fencing, maybe a month into the process.
Yep.
So very inexperienced crew. How about that, right? So we got one guy knows what he's doing, two very experienced. So I didn't count the exact, but I think there are around 60 sections of vinyl fence. That's 480 feet, or in your meters world, that would be like, was it 3 meters a foot? So like 1,300 meters, is that right? And at 1:30, all the posts were driven.
Three. What do you got? 3 meters a foot. No, there's 2 foot is 600 mil. So 3 feet to a meter. 3.3 feet to a meter.
Yeah, other direction. So we're talking 480 feet, which would be divide that by 3 for you guys on meters, right? So
yep.
Right. So I had 60 times 8. Yeah, divided by 3. So 160 meters. They had all the posts set by 1:30, and they'll have that fence built today. And so, that's
nice
for us. A value job. I don't know, approximately, just rough numbers. We're talking around $20,000 a fence driven and set today with the 3 of them.
Yep.
Done, finished, done tonight. They'll have a 10 hours, 12 hours into a total probably in the day. But so you're saying, how's it working? Like, the guy that was with me was blown away. This was in a nursing home, and right along all of these back patios. So tons of back patios. If we were digging holes, we would have dirt everywhere in their flower beds and their boxes, back patios. They got these 10 feet by 10 foot patios. So they would have had a mess, right? So not only do we not have a mess, we had a tremendous amount of fence built in a day. And then if you look across the way, a competitor about 10 years built the same fence along the back of those patios, and it's all fallen over. And it's fallen over because it's not uncommon for us to find guys here that will dig a hole 2 feet deep or less. And then for ours, that's just not deep enough for stability. Our sand is a sandy loam. It's going to move. It's not like it's a very solid ground. So you got to get deeper. So we drove today. Those posts are 4.5 feet deep with a 2.5 inch Schedule 20 galvanized steel post that sticks out of the ground 4 feet. So not only do we have a faster fence, we have a stronger fence. We have little to no maintenance on it, and we didn't leave any dirt in our yard. So yes, how's it working out? It's like a dream. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really keen to sort of to see it over here. Like we've probably only been doing vinyl. I had a mate introduce me to vinyl fencing probably maybe 15 years ago. I was one of the first ones to start it up here in the Northern Rivers in New South Wales, doing ranch fencing, and then I was using WesTech and Triple Crown from a supplier in Melbourne, actually, and used to freight up,
what was the supplier's name? Melbourne.
Was Paramount Fencing. It used to be Ralph Cacciello, I think it was. Yes.
So Ralph is the one that hired me and brought me to Australia for the first vinyl fence in Australia. It was a rail fence. I was the guy they flew over there with the container. So Ralph, his son, and then there was